9 to 10 to 12% rate of return and double their money every 6 to 7 years, but mitigate that risk or take the risk away altogether. This is a strategy called an index strategy. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with indexing, Mike, but a basic index that you've probably heard of is something called the S&P 500. Are you familiar with the S&P?
Yes, that's the top 500 capital gaining companies.
It's the top 500 companies in the U.S. economy. That's an easy way to remember it. So the Standard & Poor's 500 is one of the indexes we use here. Also the European index called the Euro Stoxx 50. Also the Hang Seng Index, which is the Hong Kong market. Okay. Now you'll notice here in 01, 02, and 08, all three of these indexes were negative. Wow. And this is what people don't like about investing in the market, right? They potentially could lose money. I don't know if you knew anybody in 2000. Did you know anybody in 2008, since that was the most recent downturn, that lost a lot of money in the market?
You know, to be perfectly honest, I was very sheltered from that.
Okay.
Because my world didn't change. But I did hear, like, my dad's 401k took a huge hit.
Absolutely. Yeah, most of them did. Okay, and this is why people don't like investing in the market. But you'll notice this purple line here, the purple box, which is the index interest. The accounts that we work with when we're doing this provide what we call a floor or a guarantee. The floor here is 1%. So when the market in 08 was negative 40, the floor was providing that client a 1% return. A guarantee of 1%. Okay, so let me ask you something, Mike. How do you think the average person would feel knowing that they could take advantage of the market when it's up, but never have to worry about the market when it's down, or if it goes negative, never have to worry about losing money? How do you think that'd make people feel that are worried or scared about losing value in the market?
Why am I not doing this already?
Okay, good.
It's a huge improvement. The risk is mitigated.
Absolutely. It's almost like having your cake and eating it too. I can earn a high double-digit rate of return where I'm doubling my money every 8 to 9 years, but taking away the risk in the market. Have you ever seen anything like that?
I have not. This is the first time I've seen anything like that.
Heather, just a minute ago said, I think there's going to be some things that are kind of eye-opening to you guys. I hope that this is one of those things, because it really is a big difference maker for us in keeping people invested in the market. Okay, so hopefully that helped you. Okay, next thing we're going to talk about is time. Money has a time value, and one of the things that we find is that people wait too long to start saving money. And so here's a kind of a story of two people, person A, person B, who are both going to save $2,500 per year up through age 65, and they're going to earn a 10% rate of return. Okay, so person A is going to start when they're age 30, and person B is going to wait for 5 years. Now, if you're 30 years old, is waiting 5 years a super long time to wait, in your opinion, to start saving money? Or would you say it's not that long of a time?
To save money, that is pretty much a long time. But as far as day-to-day life, it doesn't feel that long.
You know what? Going from age 30 to 35, both those ages are pretty young. So most people would say, you know what, waiting 5 years is not that big of a deal. Okay, but that's what happened here. Person A started at age 30, person B waited for 5 years. So the principal invested that person A put away $87,500 is what they put away of their own money. And person B, again, because they waited 5 years longer, put away $75,000. The difference is $12,500 is what person B did not put away. So the total accumulation, using the factor of 10% growth, at age 65, person A has $677,000 saved. Person B has $411,000 saved, which, by the way, is still a good chunk of money, right?
It is.
Right?
It's a lot of money.
But the difference between these two numbers is over $250,000, $266,000.
Wow.
Like, that's a lot of money. Would you leave that money sitting on the table?
No, I'd want that in my pockets right away.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, most people, obviously, that's a big chunk of money. Do you think if people really knew that it was going to cost them more than $250,000 at retirement to wait just 5 years, do you think people would be waiting to start to save money?
Oh gosh, no. I want to start immediately.
Right. And this is part of why we feel that education is very important in helping people understand the impact of time. Okay. The last thing I'm going to cover with you as far as the concepts go is taxes. Okay. Now, when you look at taxes, I don't know if you guys know this, but the single biggest expense we pay in our lifetimes is taxes. Every time we turn around, we're taxed. And so one of the things we like to teach our clients is, because taxes is the biggest expense we pay, how do we legally avoid the ravages of taxation on our money? Okay, as we grow it and then as we pull it out. So really quick story here, there's 3 boxes. The first one is called the taxable box. That means, and you'll notice here that all 3 of these, or the whole, this triangle here is all green or blue, which means that at the beginning, when I start saving money into the taxable account, as that money grows, and when I pull it out at the end, when the money is the biggest, I'm taxed the whole way through. Okay, so in the taxable category, there are no benefits from a tax standpoint. But what is the benefit? I mean, if you look at having a savings account at the bank, yes, you're taxed on it every single year. But what would be the benefit of keeping money in the taxable box?
How quickly you can get to it.
Okay, good. So you have access to that money, good, without penalty. It'd be for emergency funds. Absolutely, that's the benefit. The second box is tax deferred. Tax deferred means I'm not paying any taxes on that money. Now, you notice the first two parts of this wedge or this triangle are gray, which means I'm not paying any taxes on the money when I put it away. I'm paying no taxes on the money as that money grows. But when that penny seed that I've saved turns into $1 million harvest at the end, that's when I'm paying my taxes on it. Okay, and I don't know, if you knew that you'd be hammered with taxation on the 401k. Do you have a 401k right now at work?
I don't. I have a TSP, and I didn't really think about that.
Okay, and there's a lot of families that don't realize that is coming. But there are families, Mike, that do know that impact is going to be there. Why do you think people put money into an account, whether it be a TSP, a 401k, or an IRA, knowing that at the end they're going to be fully taxed on that money? Why do you think people just continue to throw money into that type of an account?
Because I can save it without seeing it come out.
Okay, so it sounds like what you're saying is it's convenient, right? It comes out of your paycheck. Okay, good. It comes out of your paycheck. What other reason do you think people would save in that account?
Other than that, I really don't know.
Okay, here's what we find. It's convenient. It comes out of your paycheck. But a lot of times people will simply do what they see other people doing, right? It's not because they really understand the benefits of a 401k or the benefits of a TSP, but they look around, all their buddies at work are doing it, they go, okay, well, I'm going to do it too. And I'm not saying 401ks are bad, but I think it's certainly better to know why you're doing that, okay? The last category is what we call tax exempt or tax never. And here's the difference. You'll notice at the beginning of the triangle here, the beginning of the wedge, at the lowest point, when your money is the smallest, that's when you're going to pay taxes on the money that you're putting into it. But as we talked about before over here, no taxes is coming due as that money grows. And the best part about tax never or tax exempt is when your money is at its biggest point or the most valuable, that money is distributed to you in retirement on a tax-free basis. Do you think most people know that there's a way for them to set themselves up in retirement owing no taxes to the government on their retirement money?
No, this is the first time I'm hearing of this.
Is that right? Okay. Yeah, and if you think of people that are retired, I don't know if you've ever known anybody that's retired, but would you say that people that are in retirement are on a very robust income or a fixed or limited income, in your opinion?
Definitely very limited.
Most people that are retired are on limited income. So, Mike, if we could free up $600 or $800 or $1,000 a month from a retiree in taxes because they don't have to pay taxes on their retirement income, is that a big deal for them or a little deal in your opinion?
I think that'd be huge.
That's pretty significant, right? And so that's why we talk about the impact of taxes. Did you learn a few things there?
I learned quite a bit, actually.
Okay, so again, as we wind down today, I really want you thinking of people that you know that would be really good at wanting or having a desire to help other people understand those concepts, and of course, other families that you know that would really benefit from actually going through the planning process. And that's where I'm going to end. I'm going to kind of bring all this stuff together. And how do we do that? The main thing that we do in bringing all these ideas together is our company works with, and Heather is going to be working with a financial strategy, a financial analysis. That's the main thing that we do. And so as it says here at the top, a financial needs analysis provided by our company looks at areas for the family that are over here on the right side of the page. We look at, the first area would be cash flow. How do we manage a family's cash? What money's coming in? What money's going out? How do we better manage what they have? The second thing we look at is debt management. How do we reduce and eliminate their debt if that's a problem? We talked before about emergency funds, right? Making sure that a family has proper liquid assets. Next, we look at proper protection. When you think of protection, the question I always like to ask here is, what do you think your family's greatest financial asset is? I mean, how would you answer that?
Probably my house.
Your house. Okay, most people say that because it's the most expensive thing you've bought. But think about this, Mike. If your income went away, if something happened to your ability to earn income, what would happen to your house? Would you be able to make your house payment?
No.
You wouldn't, right? And so the house, even though it was a good answer, is not the right answer. And the job isn't even the right answer. It's the ability to earn income. That's what we want to make sure that we're protecting right here. We also want to help a family build and protect build their wealth, and then also preserve their wealth. Okay, so that's the plan. Now, Mike, we're not unique. Heather's not unique because she's working with a company that provides a plan. There's a lot of companies like ours that provide a financial strategy to that family. But really what makes it unique is that in the 16 years I've been here, we've never charged for that plan. That plan we work with is complimentary to the family. Okay, but here's what we ask in return. In lieu of a fee, we ask that that family refer us to 5 or 10 or 15 families that they know, like themselves, that could really benefit from understanding how money works. Does that sound like a fair way of doing business?
It does. I'm a little shocked that you are the only ones that do not charge for this.
Well, there might be other companies that don't charge as well, but then they're going to be limited in their scope in terms of what they do. I think we are one of the very few that have the diversity that we have and don't charge for the plan as well. Okay, so again, you're right, that does make it very unique. So the plan answers questions that families have, such as, how do I create a workable savings plan that I can stick to? What goals should I set, and how much do I need to save every month to achieve or to reach those goals? How much coverage do I need, and what types of plans should I consider? That's what the financial strategy answers for families that we deal with. Mike, wouldn't you agree that most families, if not all families in Colorado Springs, could really benefit from having the answer to those questions?
I would. I do agree.
Yeah. Okay, good. Do you see, because, again, because of that, do you see why we're growing as a company? Do you understand, the dramatic need that we have to fill positions in our office and why we're interviewing based on the need there?
Yeah, I definitely can see why you guys definitely are expanding. You've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of families that need to understand this stuff. And so Transamerica feels like we're in a position very similar to the IT industry was back in the mid 80s, early 90s. I don't know if you probably remember that time frame. I know you're in IT now, but back in the early to mid 80s up through the late 80s, there was a great demand. Cell phones were just starting to come into the market. Technology was starting to come into the market, and these companies that were developing this technology needed people, right? They needed to train people. There were no such thing as IT degrees or colleges training people on working on IT. So what did companies do? Companies brought people in from different backgrounds, retail managers, mechanics, people that were in the military, and they trained and developed people to work in the IT industry. And that literally is the same thing that Transamerica is doing, is pulling people from different backgrounds. I told you earlier, my background is in aircraft maintenance, right? And they pulled me out of the aircraft maintenance industry, trained and developed. Heather's background is working with the military. And so we're good examples of people who've made that transition. So again, that's where we feel like we're at today. So as we wind down today, I'm going to give you this business review card that will help me to keep track of Heather's training, number one, but really is a tool that we use so that we know maybe how, giving you some ideas of how you can help our firm in what we're looking for. So if you can fill out this top section here, just your name, address, and phone number, all the information there would be great. Down below here are 3 check boxes. The first one says, starting with this from a career or business standpoint. And that would mean, Mike, that you know somebody that might be open to interviewing with our company, somebody that you know wouldn't mind being retrained in a new area. And again, as I said before, we train our people in the areas they need to understand. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this. You talked earlier about you're not challenged anymore at the job that you have now. That you're getting a little bit bored. I think it makes sense for you to maybe take a closer look at what we might offer you on the career side. The second box is learning more about financial solutions for my family. And that would mean you or somebody you know might be open to getting a financial review or getting a financial plan done, somebody that would really benefit from understanding money. I know earlier on we talked about the indexing plan, and you were not really familiar with how to protect your money when the market's down, and you had some concern about taxes. So again, if there's anything we can help you out on there, I think it makes sense to check that box. Not only that, if you're going to be referring people to Heather to get these financial reviews done, I think it'd be good for you to know what you're going to be referring to. And then the last box is both of the above. Okay, so if both of those things apply, or to somebody you or somebody you know, just let us know there. Any referrals that you have or people that you thought of, please write those names down on the back, and we'll schedule the interviews or get a time set to do their financial review.
Okay, awesome.
Does that sound fair?
It does.
Okay, great. So here's the business review card. If you could fill that out now, and then we'll get the time scheduled appropriately, and we're done. So I really enjoyed meeting you, and hope that you had a good feeling about what Heather's doing with our firm. That was our goal here today.
I'm definitely really impressed with the change, Heather.
Awesome. Good deal. Well, hey, thanks, Mike, so much. It's great meeting you, and go ahead and fill out your card.